Authentic exchange where the vibes gon' flow. Truth on the table, let the real one show.
Welcome to the Authentic Exchange. I am Josh Bird. I am your host. And this is the very, very first episode of season number 2. I've been absent for roughly about a year, maybe a little bit more. But it's good to be back. I'm excited. One of the things that I wanted to share, I'm sure people are looking around like, man, what in the world is going on right here? I know this is my makeshift studio tonight. I made a commitment to myself to get this first episode done by the end of October, and it is October 31st. And so it's 11:23 right now, and I am recording this just to honor the commitment that I gave and said to myself. And I share that with you guys in hopes that you do the same. Keep your word to yourself. Keep your word to yourself. There's so many times that we make commitments and we say we're going to do something and we don't do it. This is me on my soapbox right now, but keep and honor the commitments that you make to yourself. They are sacred. They are powerful, and they show that you value yourself. And so this is me making that commitment. This is me honoring that commitment. And I just say, excuse my makeshift studio today. Typically we would shoot and film episodes from the barbershop. For those of you who don't know, I am a barber. And for me, this episode is really all about me figuring out and understanding and coming to a realization over the last few days that I am actually more than a barber. And so I am going to share some thoughts, share some ideas that I've had. And so for almost the last 15 years, almost a decade and a half, I've tried to get away from being a barber. My original plans were not to cut hair at all. I actually made a decision that I would cut hair when I lost my job. I lost my job. And my best friend and I were sitting down having breakfast, and he said, "Hey man, what are you going to do?" I remember saying, "Hey, I don't know. The only thing that I want to do, the only thing that I hear in my head, the only thing that I hear in my heart is that I want to help people." He's like, "Man, help people? Like, help people how?" And I remember telling him, "Hey man, I honestly, I don't know. I just know I want to help people." And he said, "Okay, well, have you thought about cutting hair?" And I laughed and I chuckled because my friend had asked me for 3 or 4 years if I had thought about cutting hair, and every single time I turned him down. I never really said why I turned him down, but I turned him down because I felt like barbering was beneath me. And so at that moment, sitting at the table as we're having breakfast, I said, "You know what? I ain't got nothing else to lose. Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And I said it reluctantly, believing that I was only going to cut hair, for a year max while I figured out exactly what I wanted to do. And like I said, almost a decade and a half later, I'm still here, and I'm actually doing what I love and what I enjoy. which is actually connecting with people, having conversations with people and having impact. I'm just doing it with a different approach, you know. One of my favorite lines in a rap song is that relationships are our greatest wealth. And each and every single day for the last 13 years, I've had opportunities to build relationships. And I've had the opportunity to witness and see the power of those relationships with all of the different people that I have served, all of the different hair and heads that I've cut. I've had an opportunity to build relationships. And, you know, part of what I want to create here with the Authentic Exchange is understanding that these are more than conversations. I look at these episodes and, you know, what we're doing here and what we're creating is more than just conversations. They're not just random conversations that we're having, just shooting a breeze. It may come across that way, but, you know, I look at it and I'm really striving to create connection for the guest. I'm really striving to create connection with each and every listener out here. Hopefully something that I'm saying or something that a guest says resonates, something, you know, encourages or empowers you, you know, something makes you, you know, feel or think that like, oh man, you know what, you know, I understand what it feels like to be in that position. And so, wildly enough, I'll say some of the most impactful moments in my life have come from behind the chair. And part of me not fully embracing or accepting being a barber came from the ridiculous notion that it was a lowly position. Anyone who's ever been to networking events, anyone who's ever been to mixers and things like that, you usually get people to come up to you and they ask, oh, well, what do you do? And what do you do is a way to size you up. It's a way to figure out how much respect I should give you. And most times when I would say, hey, I'm a barber, me having my own reservations projected to other people that, hey, you know, what I do is not that important. And so people would kind of look at it, they would act or respond in a certain way. And it kept reinforcing this idea, this notion that I had that, you know, barbering really wasn't something to be proud of, something to take pride in. Even though I know that barbering has been phenomenal, and I have a deep respect for the craft, I didn't accept it on all levels. And so for years I would cringe when people ask, you know, what I did. And I would try to, you know, get around it because I didn't think it was worthy in my eyes. And, you know, it's one of those things where I'm grateful again for every interaction that I have behind the chair. I'm grateful for the conversation that I had a couple of weeks ago. I got a chance to have a conversation with a young man, and after speaking with him, after, you know, cutting his hair, and we're going back and forth, and I'm asking him some questions, and I'm picking his brain, and I'm just trying to get him to think. I'm just trying to expand his perspective. And we're having a conversation, and, you know, once we finished the conversation, it was really, really cool. I could see he had a lot to think about. I could see the gears turning in his mind. And he walked out of the shop, got in the car, and his mom stayed behind just a few minutes. His mom stayed behind, and what his mom did was she said, "You're more than a barber." She said, "I want to add that to your door. The name of my barbershop is A Touch of Brilliance." She said, "You can keep that, but I want to go to your door and I want to put more than a barber." She said, you listen to people. You're a counselor. You're a therapist. She said, "You just spoke life into my son. And I just want you to know how grateful I am." And she said, "I just want you to understand that you're so much more than a barber." And it was in that moment, that's one of the greatest compliments that I've ever received while doing or being in this profession. But it really, really stuck with me, and it really made me think, wow, man, I am so much more. And it's one of those things where I couldn't see it. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't fully accept it, embrace it, because I had to get past my own, rejection of it. And no matter what position you find yourself in, no matter what career or what line of work you may be doing in the moment, never underestimate your ability to have impact in that position. That's the realization that I came to. I'm having impact every single day, and I just get to do it with a pair of clippers in my hand. I get to connect with people. I get to, be a listening ear. I get to be a friend. I get to be so much of an influence for other people. I get to encourage folks. I get to do so much. And I get to do it while I'm holding clippers. And so it made me really, really, truly rethink, how important it is to be a barber. A barber is a man of the people. And it really made me go back to that conversation at breakfast with my friend 13, 14 years ago. We're sitting down having that conversation, and me saying, I just want to help people. I didn't make a distinction about how I was going to help people or what I was going to be doing. I said I wanted to help people. And what I can say is that I've touched more lives and I've been able to help more people from behind the chair than I've ever done in any other facet of life. There are so many people that, if you know me, if you've seen me, I used to be extremely active in church. I used to do a whole lot of different things, sing a lot of songs, pray a lot of prayers, all of the church stuff. And there are many people who are like, oh man, wow, you had some level of impact there. And I don't dismiss the impact that I had there. I don't diminish the impact that I had there. But what I believe is that me being able to be amongst people and actually have heart-to-heart conversations, to actually talk with people and to actually hold space for other individuals, to let them know, like, hey man, it's cool, bro. You don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I mess up. I make mistakes. I'm learning and I'm trying to figure things out. And I don't always have it figured out. To let people show up as themselves without feeling the burden of having to be someone, or trying to play a role, or trying to, be perceived, or, all the facades, all of the different stuff that we do, day to day, because we are not allowed to just show up and be ourselves, to be accepted for just being us. You know, one of the things that I value and I appreciate is the fact that I get to do that. And people value that. So, you know, I'm here to embrace the fact that I am more than a barber. I am so much more than a barber. And I am grateful because being a barber is what led me to this moment. It's what led me to create this podcast, to have this, what I call the authentic exchange, where you and I get a chance to just sit down, just to talk, just to be real. No judgment, no condemnation, no shame. As my uncle would say, I don't mind you being you if you don't mind me being me. The authentic exchange is literally this. If you look around you, this is me just being transparent. This is my makeshift office right now. It doesn't look pretty, but I'm showing up. And I'm here. And I'm here with the intention and with the purpose of trying to help and trying to be better. And so, you know, I say all of that to say that I am so excited to get this next chapter going, to sit down, to have conversations with men and women, and have other individuals share their stories, no different than they've shared with me over the years, sitting in the barber's chair, sharing those stories, but sharing those stories in a way that encourages, that shares stories in a way that helps other people understand that they're not by themselves. You know, those are the things that led me to start having conversations with people, because I realize most people don't get that. I know men don't. You guys have heard me talk about that. If you've listened to any episode, men don't oftentimes have that space where they can just say, hey, man, I'm struggling. I got this going on, or I have that going on. You know, we all need connection. We all want to be seen, heard, and understood. And so my goal is always to help people in that way, you know, and, you know, it's a blessing to be able to stand behind the chair and allow other people to do that on, you know, a consistent basis. The authentic exchange is a place for more than conversations. It's a place for connection. And the connection most of us are starved for. The idea of coming together, sharing stories, overcoming together, it's the goal. That's all this is about. I hope that you stay tuned. You tune in for more. This is episode 1, season 2, real, raw, unfiltered, unchanged, no shame. I'm here all day, every day. Reach out if you have something to say. Reach out if you want to have a conversation. Reach out if you just need a listening ear. I value you. I love you. I appreciate you. And until next time, peace.
Authentic exchange where the vibes gon' flow. Truth on the table, let the real